It's a great Saturday today, and I'm really excited to be here and really share with you what we're going to be covering. Now, my overall goal today is to really give you an overall proper expectation of what you can expect as a Forex investor utilizing a specific strategy that I can't wait to really show you today. Now, before we get into it, I just want to get a feel of who we have in the room from a trading standpoint. So how many of you in the room right now are currently trading the Forex market, whether it's live, whether it's demo? If I could just get a Y for yes or even an N for no, just to kind of get an idea. And even if you have an interest in the Forex market, maybe you can even say yes for that as well, just to kind of get a feel of who we have here. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Kaylin, David, James, Durant, and Yemi, and Len, and everybody else typing in yes or interest. Perfect. Thank you for that confirmation. Now, I have to let you know before we get started that trading does have its own form of risk involved. So you should never invest money that you can't afford to lose, and always trade with equity management in mind. Now, there is no such thing as an undefeated season, and you may incur losses from time to time, but the key is to keep your profits high and have minimal losses. Now, everything I'm going to be showing you today, please be advised that, what I'm going to be showing you, please don't take this as actual investment advice. Okay, I'm going to walk you through several trade examples, and I'm going to show you some trades that win, but I do want you to understand that, in this market, your goal is to really be educated and have a proper handle on, what you're doing. You definitely don't want to gamble the market. Now, once again, I want to personally welcome each and every one of you. Thank you for being here today. And just a little quick background. Reed did a great job. Thank you, Reed, once again for that introduction. But, folks, I want to let you know, I went to University of Central Florida, got into law school, and, now what I do is I actually coach and mentor individuals on essentials necessary to succeed in the marketplace. I do speak publicly to organizations and large audiences, training them on how to become a results-driven achiever. And basically, for the last 10 months now, I've been educating and teaching individuals how to successfully trade the Forex market, and that is really where I found my passion in helping and teaching individuals. Now, for those of you that aren't really familiar with who MTI is, MTI stands for Market Traders Institute. Now, we were founded by a gentleman by the name of Jared Martinez in February of 1994, and they are located in Lake Mary, Florida. Now, we do employ over 100 of the most talented staff in the industry, and over the last 21 years, this month marks our 21-year anniversary, which is pretty awesome, but we've had the honor in working with over 30,000 clients and students from all corners of the world. And we do operate under a single mission here, which is to create successful traders. And since client satisfaction is highly important to MTI, we have designed all of their client interactions around a single sentence, and that is, we never leave a client behind. Now, if you see on the screen, it says investing in our students in 2014, you see $2,482,462 and over 89,000 resource hours. The reason I tell you that, folks, is because if you notice the word institute in the name of our company, it's because there's so many companies out there that just provide you with a spreadsheet or something and, hey, good luck, right? But it's important to know that we're here to actually work side by side with our students to help them succeed and to really help them, get to the point of whatever it is they want to accomplish from a goal standpoint. Now, not only does MTI have some of the absolute best strategies, but MTI also has some of the best expert Forex instructors and analysts in the Forex industry. Now, one specific instructor that I'm going to make note of, his name is Joshua Martinez. He's also known as the FX Pathfinder. Now, the reason you might be asking, why am I telling you about Joshua Martinez? Well, let me give you a quick intro on his background, then I'll tell you why I'm filling you in on who Josh is. He is one of MTI's product experts. He's trained thousands and thousands of individuals, of Forex investors, if you will. He has turned an initial deposit investment of $500 US and generated over $39,000 of profit. He's made thousands of Forex investments. He's a published author, international speaker, pro analyst, and he's a full-time trader. Now, why am I telling you this? Because he's created a strategy, that he's taught me personally, that I'm going to be sharing with you today, and this strategy has really allowed him to do some unbelievable things. For example, back in June 5th of 2011, he opened up a trading account with just $500 US. And what this gave him the ability to do was to trade with a micro position. Now, when he first started trading, maybe like many of you and even myself, he was only making around $2 to $5 per trade and losing $2 to $5 per trade. But he stuck with it, and he started going through the education that MTI offers, and he started noticing that there's patterns in the market. Now, if we fast forward real quickly, you'll notice that he was able to take time compounding and build residual income, and through the course, when he was able to, he certainly put more money in. But he stuck with it. He didn't grow weary in well-doing, right? But ultimately, he stuck with it, and what it taught him how to do was how to reinvest his money, how to compound, build residual income. And of course, when he was able to, he deposited money along the way. And what this allowed him to do was to see daily returns of up to $4,000 to $5,000 per day in profits. And I remember he was even withdrawing $10,000 at a time. And what once took him 6 months, working 5.5 days a week to make as a personal trainer, he was now able to do in just one single day. And in personal conversation, he personally told me that when he was able to start withdrawing this kind of money, it did dramatically change his financial lifestyle for the better, him and his wife and now his newborn son. But he's even had days where he's made $7,000 US. But I want to ask you this question. How many of you would like to learn this skill? How many of you would like to learn a skill that would allow you to accomplish these types of results? If I could just get a Y for yes if that's you. And so I'm a big believer in track records. Now, if you take a look at his track record, which is third-party verified, by the way, you're going to notice that he has a gain of 4,548.82% return on his initial deposit investment. Now, take a look at the bottom of the graph there, on the bottom of the screen. If you look at the graph of his growth, it shows that he was making money and losing money, right? Kind of taking it serious, maybe not taking it serious, I don't know. But all of a sudden, things absolutely took off, right? And we like to call this a tipping point. And what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to show you the exact strategy that's really, been able to assist Josh and myself in finding our tipping points to help assist you in finding your tipping points faster. Now, how many of you would like to have a tipping point like this? Where all of a sudden your account just kind of goes from where it's been to, boom, it kind of skyrockets, right? And one more thing I want to show you before I pull up my charts is to kind of celebrate his accomplishments. Back in April was his biggest day where he made $8,800 US in just one day. So let me ask you this question. And look, I'm not saying you're going to be able to make this starting tomorrow. What if this strategy I'm going to show you right now will begin to allow you to make $2,000 to $5,000 in a single month? How many of you would like to learn that? Type in a yes or no. And how many of you would honestly agree that that would truthfully change your financial lifestyle? Absolutely, right? Awesome, Yuri and Perla and Larry and Steven, Chris and John and everybody else typing in yes. So with that being said, let's get right into it, folks. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my charts. And when you see my charts up on your screen, can I please get a nice Y for yes to confirm for me that you do see my charts on your screen? All right, and by the way, I do apologize if I'm speaking a little bit fast here. I just want to let you know that 45 minutes is not a lot of time, and so I just want to get as much accomplished as I possibly can, okay? Now, in front of us, this is our ultimate charting software, okay? This is proprietary to MTI, and this is the software that we do provide all of our students here at Market Traders Institute who decide in something known as the Ultimate Traders Package on Demand program. Now, I know we have some experienced traders in the room, and we also have some novice traders as well. And the first thing I want you to do is to write, all 6 of these currency pairs down, okay? And if you want, depending on your PC, you can even click a little camera button icon, if you will, on your screen there that will allow you to just simply take a snapshot. It will save it to your desktop. All right, but we have the pound Japanese yen, we have the pound Aussie, we have the pound Swiss franc, the pound US, pound CAD, and pound New Zealand. So these are all pound crosses. Now, once you have all those written down, just type in the word done, let me know. And I just want you to have those for, for your easy access. Now, what I want to do at this time is this. I'm going to simply pull up, let's just go with the pound Canadian, okay? I'm going to pull up the pound Canadian right now. Now, first thing I want you to understand as far as how this market moves is this market moves in what you call a wave-like pattern. So the market's going to form highs, the market's going to form lows. Understand that what goes up must come down, what goes down must come up. How many of you notice right here the market is absolutely moving in waves, right? We're making lower lows and lower highs and lower lows and lower highs. How many of you see that, okay? And the reason I'm actually showing you this is because one of the neat things about the Forex market, folks, is that you can make money on the way down and you can make money on the way up, okay? There's not really many different things you can do in the Forex market. You either buy it or you can sell it. So I want you to understand that there's a 50-50 chance, right, of being right or being wrong just by simply guessing. I'm not telling you to guess, but how many of you agree that if you have a decent strategy to apply to this, right, the percentages will fall highly in your favor? Make sense? So first thing I want to do is I want to show you how this strategy works, and I want to show you on a blank part of the screen here so that it's spatially a little bit easier to understand. And then I'm going to go ahead and show you how it actually applies in the live market, okay? Now, one of the neat things about the Forex market that I absolutely love is that it does the same thing over and over and over again, day in and day out, right? And it has a very high percentage of providing the same signals, usually during the same times and usually during the same areas. And so one of the first things that the market's going to do for you is the market's going to provide something for you known as a high and a low, okay, or known as a low and a high. So with that being said, what I want you to understand is that within a 24-hour period, this is what the market is going to provide you with. And I'm going to go ahead and type this out so everybody can see it nice and clear. So I'm going to type out high and low. And once again, the market will provide this for you, all right, typically 2 times in a day. Now, with that being said, I want you to understand that the first high or low down here, the first high or low, okay, will form anywhere between the hours of 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. Excuse me. All right. Now, that is about a 3-hour gap in time, right? Now, the second high or low will form anywhere between the hours of 8 a.m. all right, and 2 p.m. Now, how many of y'all agree? Give me a Y for yes if you agree that the first high or low will be much, much easier to find with a 3-hour gap versus a 6-hour gap. Y'all agree with me there? So what I want you to understand is that with what we're utilizing this strategy is we're going to be focusing in on the first high or low of the day. Now, with that being said, I also want you to know that the market is going to provide for you, okay, it's very important to understand that the distance covered between the low and the high, or the high and the low of the day, this is known as something known as average daily trading range. And so I want to go ahead and abbreviate that. I'm going to abbreviate it ADT. Some people abbreviate it differently, but that stands for average daily trading range, and that can be anywhere between 500 pips, oops, not 500, there we go, sorry, anywhere between 50 pips and 200 pips, okay? Now, with that being said, with the strategy we're going to be utilizing today, we are going to go after a minimum of 50 pips at a minimum. It could be more, but it's not going to be less, okay? So 50 pip minimum. Now, when you're trading this market, I want you to understand that there's three major lot sizes traded in the Forex market, and depending on your investment, that's going to depend highly on what your return on investment will be. So, for example, if you start off trading with the smallest lot size available, that is known as a micro position, okay? And a micro position is a $20 investment, right? And that each pip is going to equate to 10 cents. All right. Now, if you want to move up, the second lot size available to you is something known as a mini lot. And a mini lot is a $200 investment, and that each pip is going to be worth $1. All right. And then finally, what's the end goal in mind? We have what you call it's called a standard lot, a standard position. That is a $2,000 investment. All right. And 1 pip is going to be worth $10. All right. Now, with that being said, here's what I want to ask you. All right. If you believe you're a standard lot trader, type in 2,000. If you think you're a mini lot trader, give me 200, or a micro, type in 20. Just to get an idea here. All right. Thank you, Patty. Thank you, Stephen, Chris, John, Travis, Vicky, Perla, Mark, Sophie, and Bill, and Robert, and everybody else typing that in. Perfect. Okay. Excuse me. Awesome. So with that being said, I want to just kind of give you perspective. Let's just say on the low end you make 50 pips per day. That's either $500, okay, with a standard position. Excuse me there. That's either $50 with a mini position or $5 with a micro position. So it looks like the majority of the room is starting at around a mini lot, which is pretty normal, all right? And what I want you to understand is that every example I'm going to be showing you today is going to be as if we're trading with a standard position, because I like to show as if we're using with the end goal in mind, all right? So just some takeaways. Let's focus on the first high or low. We're going after a minimum of 50 pips, and we're going to be using this with an example of trading with a standard lot. All right? So with that being said, I'm going to give you a second. Go ahead, write that down, take a snapshot. I'm going to delete all this and go ahead and show you how this strategy holds true. All right? So let's go ahead and clean all this up. And let me delete all this, clean all this up. And so with that being said, first thing I want you to notice, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to back this market up just a little bit, all right? I want to back this up. Now, what I want you to know right out of the gate is that we're going to be focusing in on the 3 a.m. candle. So Since the first higher low forms, right, between the hours of 2 a.m. and 5 a.m., what we're going to be focusing in on is the 3 a.m. Eastern Time candlestick. All right? So let me go ahead. I'm going to bold that up so everybody can see that nice and clear. And so what I want to do right now is this. I want to show you something. How many of you see, actually that's right on the dot. How many of you see this white candle right here and you see on the top left-hand side of your screen? How many of you see where it says 3 a.m. on the top left-hand side of your screen? You're welcome, Michael. No, Bill, what I'm showing you right now applies for all 6 currency pairs. Okay, so you agree this is right here is a 3 a.m. candle, right? So that white candle right there, it's a 3 a.m. candle. Let me ask you a question. How many of you notice that I'm going to ask you, is there a directional push, okay, down towards the south right after that 3 a.m. candle? How many of you notice the market does take a dip within hours after that 3 a.m. candle? Do you see that? Okay. Now, to give you perspective, how do we measure pips? I'm going to click my ruler tool. I'm going to measure from the close of this candle, and let's go to the close of this candle. Now, how many of you can tell me, if you look at the top left-hand side of your screen, do you see the word range with pips in parentheses and you see 80? How many of you see that? If you see that, type in 80 if you see where I'm looking at. Okay, perfect. So what this is telling you is that you generated, if you shorted the market from there to there, that's 80 pips. How many of you would be pretty darn excited if you were able to get into the market at 3 a.m., you go back to bed, you wake up, and you just made 80 pips? So that would be equivalent to 800 US dollars, all right, if you were trading at one standard lot position. Now, let me go ahead and show you one more thing. All right, if we take this out and we go to the following 3 a.m. candle, how many of you see right here? This dark blue candle that I'm actually going to circle right now. Okay, take a look at this dark blue candle. Can y'all confirm for me, is this a 3 a.m. candle, yes or yes? All right, perfect. Now, does the market give us a directional push down towards the south once again within just a few hours right when that candle forms, okay? So if you take a look here, if you got into the market at the close of that candle and you stayed in for, let's just call it, I don't know, 6 hours, how many pips do you see? That's 118 pips, right? So I want you to understand, folks, that that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. You're at 107, I think I moved my mouse, but let's just call it 117 pips, 118 pips. How many of you would be pretty excited if you were able to, wake up at, whatever it is, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, and you just made 1,170 US dollars? Okay. Hey, Bonaventura, I haven't got into stop losses. Okay, I'm just kind of giving you perspective on why I focus in on the 3 a.m. candle. Now, with that being said, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to now that makes sense. Does it make sense that at 3 a.m. candle you have a directional push, typically down towards the south or up towards the north? So what I'm going to do right now is I want to bring this back to current market, okay, to live market, because what I want to show you is how this actually works in the live market. Now, as I go ahead and bring this to live market, which is right here, I want to show you exactly how this works, okay? So let me back this up. And what I'm doing right now, by the way, is I'm looking for the 3 a.m. candle. So let me see. All right, there it is. Now, let me go ahead and advance this, back this up real quick. Now, can you all please be so kind to confirm for me, okay, is this the 3 a.m. candle, yes or yes? All right, perfect. So first thing we're going to do, all right, we're going to draw 2 horizontal lines. And I'm going to go ahead and let's mark those green. So 2 horizontal lines. Now, the first horizontal line that I'm going to draw is going to be 10 pips above the high, okay? So if you're following me here, let's take this up, 10 pips above the high. So what I'm going to do right now is all I have to do, actually, to even make this more simple, is if you notice how many of you see the price right there? All you have to do is go here to make sure you're on par. And if you want, all you have to simply do is change that, and then it's gonna automatically move it up 10 pips. How cool is that? All right, and then if you go right here, let's go to the close, or sorry, not the close, but the low, okay, the low of the 3 a.m. candle. And if you notice right here where it says that it's at 1.82056, let's go ahead and move that down 5 pips. And if you're wondering why am I doing this, I'm going to show you in just a second, okay? But let's go ahead and bring that down 5 pips. And here's why I'm doing this, okay? The first line that I drew, this is called an entry buy. And my entry buy is going to be plus 10 pips above the high, okay? Every single time. It's never going to change. All right? So once again, my entry buy is plus 10 pips above the 3 a.m. high. All right? Is everybody with me so far? Now, this green line, okay, this is known as my entry sell. And my entry sell is going to be minus 5 pips below my low every single time, okay? It's never going to change. Excuse me. Now, with that being said, let me go ahead and bold that up. Is everybody with me so far? 3 a.m. candle, our entry buy is plus 10 pips above high, entry sells minus 5 pips below low. All right? Hey, RL, it's Eastern time, brother, Eastern time. Now, the moment I have this, here's what I want you to understand. This is nothing more, okay? These are nothing more than pending orders, okay? Pending orders, that's it. So what I'm doing right now is I'm simply waiting for the market to basically cross into my green line, either my entry buy line or entry sell, and that will basically determine exactly which direction I'm going to look to trade. Now, does the market cross into my entry buy or my entry sell? The market crosses into my entry buy, right? Awesome, Yuri. Great job, buddy. So once the market crosses into my entry buy, here's what I want you to understand. Okay, when the new hour forms, these are all on 1 hour time frames, by the way. Sorry I didn't clarify that before. But once the market forms, folks, this candle is not going to appear like this. It's going to be a little line, and it's going to basically go up or down throughout this hour, right? And so once the market hits there, this is now going to trigger, okay, I need to buy the market. So first things first is I'm going to delete my opposite order, okay? I'm going to delete my opposite order, and I'm going to immediately place my stop, okay? Now my stop is going to be at the 3 a.m. candle low, all right? So right there, my 3 a.m. candle low. You see that? That is where I'm going to place my stop. So let me go ahead and delete that green line. So now that I have my stop in place to the 3 a.m. candle low, I am now going to go ahead and my entry buy now actually becomes my market buy. Is everybody with me so far? All right, perfect. So let's ask ourselves this question. How many pips are we going after? Well, we already know we're going to go after a minimum of 50 pips. However, what is my risk? What is my risk on this trade? How many of you can tell me? I am risking 35 pips, okay? Now, if my risk was greater than 35 pips, I would go after, if let's say I'm risking 60 pips, I would go after, all right? If I'm risking 60 pips, I'd go after 60 pips. But if I'm risking anything less than 50 pips, I'm going after a minimum of 50 pips. So a minimum of 50 pips, where's that going to yield me? That's going to take me to, all right, that's going to take me to 1.82923. So 1.82923. So let me go ahead and place my target right there. All right. So once again, now let me ask you this question real quick. Once we go ahead, and let me just confirm one thing real quick. All right. So let me just take this up, and once again, we're going after 50 pips. All right. 2923. Okay, perfect. So once again, let me just go ahead and I can edit that. So we have 2923. So once we have that in place, I want you to now understand that our target, okay, our target is plus 50 pips. Okay, that is what we're going after. Now, as I advance the market forward, I want to ask you a question. Does the market fulfill our target, yes or yes? How many of you see that? So here's what I want you to understand, folks. This is what's wild. This is by the way, this was just yesterday morning. Okay, this is as current as it gets. So take a look at this. Let me go ahead and fix this up. And here's what I want you to think about. So we're now up 50 pips, or 500 US dollars profit in 2 hours. How many of y'all would be pretty excited if you were able to generate this type of profit in a 2-hour time frame? So look at this. 3 a.m. candle. Here's what I want you to imagine. 3 a.m. comes around. You figure out this is where I need to get into the market, right? Market buy. You set your limit, you set your stop, you go back to bed. So you've been up for what? Maybe 30, 45 minutes to an hour, if that. You go back to bed, okay? Hit dreamland. You wake up in the morning, make a cup of coffee, check your account, and guess what? Up $500 in 2 hours. Not bad. How many of you would be able to utilize this strategy every morning, and especially on 6 different currency pairs? But how many of you see yourself doing that? So once again, if you take a look, how many of you notice that the market immediately retraces and goes in the opposite direction? And here's the live market. So this was just literally the last morning we were able to trade. Now, what I'm going to do right now is this. I want to ask you all a simple question. How many of you out there, and let me go ahead and bring this all back up. Sorry about that. Okay, perfect. Now, so let me go ahead and, all right. There we go. All right, so once again, I'm going to go ahead and bring this back right here. All right, and I want you to ask yourself, as I go ahead and kind of expand the charts there, would you be pretty happy if you were able to accomplish that, okay? Now, how many of you want to see another one? Tell me, somebody just give me something to take a look at. First one I see, I'm going to go to. All right, I have the pound Aussie. Okay, I got the pound Aussie. Now, let's go to the pound Aussie, okay? So I'm going to pull up my pound Aussie, and let's take a look at the last morning, all right? Now, is everybody with me so far? Is everybody with me so far? Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead and find our 3 a.m. candle, and here it is. Take a look at this dark blue candle right there, all right? So is it fair to say that we have a 3 a.m. candle right here? Okay, this was just yesterday morning. So with that being said, let's go ahead and do this, all right? I'm now going to go ahead and do what? First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place my entry buy. My entry buy is going to be plus 10 pips above my high, right? And then I'm going to have an entry sell, and my entry sell is going to be minus 5 pips below my low. Now, let's go ahead and put those into position. So once again, I'm gonna make these nice and bold so everybody can see that nice and clear. Bold that up. All right, so let's go ahead and grab our 2 horizontal lines. Let me make sure I'm still in the 3 a.m. candle. I am indeed. So let's go ahead and grab horizontal line. Let me make those green, and let's go ahead and put those into position, okay? So first one is, let's see, the first candle, which is right here. All right, let's go ahead and put that at, let's edit that and put that 10 pips above. And that's going to be right there, 10 pips above. And let's take a look at our low. The low is right there. So let's go ahead and bring that down 5 pips. All right. And there we go. Now that we have that set up, okay, is everybody with me so far? So let's advance the market forward. Remember, I want you to imagine. You wake up, you set this up. Now, does the market cross into our entry buy or our entry sell? We have the market crosses into our entry buy, right? So what's the first thing we're going to do? Yes, John, that is correct. This is right after the 3 a.m. closes. So once the 3 a.m. candle closes, I am now going to set up my entry buy and entry sell, wait for the market to basically cross into, my entry buy or entry sell. It crosses into entry buy. I'm going to delete my opposite order, delete that. I'm going to set my stop. My stop is going to be at my 3 a.m. candle low. So let me just edit that, and I'm going to make that nice and red. All right. And now let me ask you this. What are we risking? How many of you can tell me how many pips are we risking on this one example? Who can tell me? 52 pips. Or, yeah, let's just call it 53 pips. Okay? 53 pips. All right? Yeah. And, hey, Scott, it's just because that's the way the market moves. That's just the strategy that we came up with, that's exactly why we place our entry buy where we do and our entry sell where we do. So let's go after 53 pips. Now, 53 pips is going to bring me to 92540. So 92540. All right? 92540, and let's put that there. 92540, right on the dot, okay, right on the money. So once again, we're going after 53 pips, so I'm going to put my target is going to be plus 53 pips away. Okay, that's how many pips I'm going after. Now, what are we going to do? We're going to live our life, do our thing, and let me ask you a question. Okay, as we advance the market forward, does the market hit our target, yes or yes? Does the market hit our target, yes or yes? Now, imagine this. 3 a.m. You set up your chart. You set it up on your account. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 8 o'clock in the morning. How many of you would still be sleeping at 8 o'clock in the morning if you wanted to? Right? So let me ask you this: how many of you would be pretty excited if you were able to wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning and you look at your charts and your account, and all of a sudden you pull up your platform and boom, right? You win and you're up $530 US profit. Of course, if you're trading at one standard lot. Okay, so that was fulfilled in about 5 hours. So how many of you like what I'm showing you? How many of you are starting to catch on to the strategy and it's starting to make a little bit of sense? All right, and if I take this forward, here's the live market, folks. Can't go any further. You know, I'll tell you right now, I am not the kind of guy that likes to fabricate what I show you and, you know, hey, let me just go find the perfect run to impress you. Forget that, okay? Everybody knows that you can't fabricate the market, okay? It is what it is, and if there's a loss, there's a loss, okay? I'm not telling you that you're never going to lose, but what I'm trying to show you is give you perspective on, you know, basically what you know, it would have been like, for instance, if you traded yesterday morning. Now, based on that right there, how many of you would be pretty excited if you were able, all right, to get into these 2 trades yesterday morning, and do you realize that by the morning you would be up over 1,000 US dollars if you were trading at one standard lot? All right, so I'm keeping a good eye on my time right now. I believe I can get into, let me get into another one real quick, all right, and then I want to obviously show you what we're doing for everybody today. But what would everybody like to see? Hey, Andres, yeah, buddy, I'm not getting into the necessarily, I'm not getting into the spread and, you know, margin and all that. I'm not getting into that much detail. You know, we can answer those questions. I'd be more than happy to, buddy. I just want to show you basically this strategy, if you will, but I don't want you to think I'm ignoring your question, all right, bud? And so let's take a look. What would you like to see next? Let's show another one. All right, we have the pound yen. Yeah, Tony, absolutely. Tony's saying any losing trades? Yeah, Tony, absolutely, buddy. You know, I'm not saying you're going to win 100% of the time. You know, I'd be lying to you if I said that. If anyone tells you you're never going to lose, run for the hills, right? But what I'm doing is I'm just simply showing you the strategy and showing you if you were to trade yesterday morning, what would it have been like for you. So let me ask you this. Are we at the 3 a.m. candle, yes or yes? All right. So is everybody cool if I move a little bit faster? Is everybody with me so far? Yeah, Cookie, I am focusing in on the pound crosses, correct, okay? So we have the 3 a.m. candle, and let's go ahead and let's go ahead and set this up, right? So we have, okay, we're going to go ahead and set this up. So let's see. Okay, we're going to have 2. We're going to have a market buy and a market sell. All right, so once again, let me type this out one more time. We have a entry buy plus 10 pips above the high, and then we have our entry sell, which is minus 5 pips below the low every single time, never changes, okay? So once we go ahead and set that up, let's take this to the high. All right, and let's see. If we're at 1.7019, let's take it up 10 pips. All right, so there we go. All right, so we're up 10 pips. Let's drop this down 5 pips. All right, so once again, if we're right here, let's take it down 5 pips, okay? So once again, let me go ahead and do that. So we're 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, once we go ahead and set that up, okay, we're in position. As a matter of fact, that's a little bit lower. There we go. Okay, so once we go ahead and set that up, let's advance the market forward and let's see what happens. Does the market hit my entry buy or my entry sell? How many of y'all can tell me? Entry buy, right? So entry buy, we're going to delete our opposite order. Delete that. We're going to set our stop. My stop is going to go at the 3 a.m. candle low. All right, so let me go ahead and make that red. There's my stop. All right, now, how many of y'all can tell me what are we risking here? Okay, how many of y'all can tell me what are we risking in pips? We are risking, once again, 53 pips. Lori, pips are simply what we're trying to accomplish in this market. Pips are good. Pips mean you're making, pips are basically, what you want. If you're up pips, you're winning money. If you're down pips, you're not. All right, so once again, 53 pips. Let's take it up 53 pips and right there, okay? So we're at the 65584. So 65584 right here. Okay. So let me ask you this. How many of y'all are liking what I'm showing you so far? How many of y'all are liking this so far? All right, is this starting to make a little bit of sense? All right, perfect. Yeah, Sophie, this is just what I focus on with the pound. Now look at this. Does the market hit our target, yes or yes? Somebody give me a signal. Does the market hit this, yes or yes? All right. So how many of y'all would be pretty happy, once again, if you were able to generate, you're up 53 pips, okay? Or, once again, $530 US profit, all right? And look, folks, that was in 2 hours' time, okay? It was fulfilled, and you're still probably sleeping, right? You don't have to stay awake, folks. You set this up on your broker's platform, and that's it. You go back to bed, your stop or your limit. If you get limited out, you're out. If you get stopped out, you get stopped out. But based on this right here, folks, let me ask you this question. Give me a Y for yes, okay? If you understand that yesterday morning alone, we were up 1,000, 1,500, over 1,500 US dollars. Did I just show you 1,500 US dollars generated in just yesterday morning alone? Awesome. So what I'm going to do, folks, I got to move on, all right, because we only have a short amount of time. I think I have about, I don't know, maybe 7 more minutes left or something like that. So I want to go ahead and get right to it. Now, I want you to understand, folks, all right, that with that being said, okay, take a look at some of these results, because I believe performance matters. But if you take a look from May to December of last year, all right, 978 pips in 8 months, okay, and that was just with one of the currency pairs. That's 9,780 US dollars, right? And so, and once again, I want to give you perspective. So if you take a look at some of our students, look at this. Thomas S. says, I made 4,500 US dollars in my first week. All right. Anthony S. says, I would say about a month after I started to see a return on my investment, an average month of trading, I'm making 3,000 plus pips. Now, if you take a look here, this is Peter Cook. He says, I did Josh's pound Australian, and it took me to the limit. Just as Josh said, I did not move my stop or fill with the plan. I just bought, set my stop and limit. Okay, left it alone as the analysis was spot on, good for 80 pips. Now, I want you to understand, folks, if, type in a yes if you found this easy to follow, if you thought this was easy to obey, and if you thought it was honestly easy to execute. So imagine if having an income of $3,000 to $5,000 a month, especially just to start with. Now, here are the stats from a day similar to this. Now, in this example, what you see on the screen, we generated 964.8 pips and took our profits 11 days later. And on this particular day, we made $9,861 in just 11 days. Now, when we host these sessions, folks, we look to generate income. And if you're wondering, well, Mike, that's impossible. If that's just, you said, that's not the London, breakout strategy. This is a different strategy. It has to be. You're right. Because look, I want you to understand that with what we're offering you today, this exclusive membership club, this is with 2 of our Forex masterminds, Joshua Martinez and Christopher Pulver. See, you're not only going to be involved in just, strategies and different live trading sessions with them for what I just showed you, but they're going to be covering completely different strategies, even strategies that you trade throughout the day. All right, and the reasons our students are able to receive these type of results is because of our lead instructors of this trading club, and they're going to be leading and guiding you through your trading events. Okay, now, let me go ahead and just kind of give you one more perspective and show you how to get your hands on this and show you what this membership is all about. All right, but believe me, if you do even half as well as the rest of the people who have gone through this program, you're going to be very, very pleased. But look at this. Samson Sweeting says, here are my trades from today. Okay, thanks, MTI. You notice it says 328 pips on the bottom of the screen. That's over 3,000 US dollars in just one day from his trades. Bobby Scott says, thanks to MTI and Christopher Pulver for helping me and so many others to become successful traders. Here's my reward to myself for having my first 1,500 pip week. And he thanks his wife for believing in him and encouraging him. Okay, that's a $15,000 a week at a standard lot to give you perspective. So with that being said, folks, I want to help everybody in this webinar right now today by doing something that we normally don't do. Normally, you'd be paying $297 for this membership. However, for those of you that liked what you saw, you sincerely, honestly want to move forward, you want to get a feel for what this is like, this membership and club, you're going to be able to get involved today, folks, for just $27 US for your first 30 days of membership. That's it. If you want to continue, it's $147 every month thereafter. There's no commitment for more than 1 month, folks. And not only that, but if this is something that you feel isn't for you, we will literally refund your money within the 30 days and give you your $27 back, no problem. So at this time, I want to let you know that I do have Reed, buddy, I want to just see if you can send out that link for me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually send it out to each and every one of you as well. So you should have the link right there. If you can all please be so kind, let me see here. Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, I'm not sure if we sent out 2 different links, Reed, but yeah, if you can just go ahead and check that out and let me know, because the one that I just sent out is the link that basically I have for this promotion. Now, with that being said, I want to go ahead and let you all know that for $27 US, how many of you believe that's a pretty good investment? Okay, so once again, all you have to do is click the link, folks, check it out, and what I'm going to do right now is go over the actual details of the membership as I go ahead and kind of bring this to a close and wind down now. But once again, if it's not for you, folks, we'll give you your money back, 30-day money back guarantee for 27 bucks. People spend that on on a meal, on a shirt, So here's what you're going to get. You're going to get 8 live market online Forex sessions per month with 2 of MTI's analysts, Joshua Martinez and Christopher Pulver. See, in these sessions, folks, all right, you're going to learn directly from them, and basically you can mimic their success. You can mimic their trades as well. Okay, you're going to understand how to avoid making costly mistakes, learn how past history repeats future profit potential. You're going to discover, incredible ROI boosting strategies to, accelerate your trading account, and you're going to be able to pick their brain live in Q&A sessions. You're also going to receive 1 Forex market preview video each week. So each week you're going to gain exclusive access to the market analysis that Josh and Chris do on a weekly basis and the possible scenarios that they're going to be looking to take advantage of when trading these opportunities, okay? Now, they also include email reminders so that you don't forget about them. And also, if you have a fear that you may miss a session, no problem. They're all going to be recorded. You have ongoing access. Typically, they're available within 24 to 48 hours after the session ends, and they're going to literally tell you what they're focused on, what they're doing, and you can literally mimic their success, folks. And listen, once again, these are not all just the strategy that I showed you. They are multiple strategies, and even if you're a demo trader, even if you have an interest in trading the Forex and you're not trading live, this is going to benefit you for $27, so you can literally get an inside track of what it can be like for you, all right? And you can also have an inside sneak peek at some of the most incredible strategies that really we teach and that you're ever going to see. Now, those of you getting started, you're going to receive 4 special bonus gifts for getting started today as well. Bonus 1 is 30 days free of our VIP Analyst On Demand service. So what that is basically, we have professional analysts available 24 hours a day, 5.5 days a week, that every day you go on there, they provide you with best currency pairs to trade, where to get in, where to get out, and if you want to run a trade by them before you place the trade, just run it by them, and they're going to give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down. They will literally analyze it for you, with you, okay, and show you and give you their take on it, okay? You're also going to get an introduction to currency trading, 4 Forex lessons by MTI, covering support and resistance, Japanese candlesticks, equity management, all the good stuff. And then bonus number 3 is a profit plan consultation call. All right, it's the same one that I had, that Josh had. And last one is 10 Keys to Successful Forex Trading ebook by Jared Martinez. All right, so once again, folks, all of this for just $27 US. Doesn't really get any better than that. And take a look. This is Kenneth McPherson, says, after going down many dark alleys, I finally have a profitable week trading the Forex. I'm pleased to report that I made 137 pips, or $1,370 US.